Hey, what's going on? It's Boss Britt, the most lit.
What's up? It's your girl DJ eXeL.
And this is
the No Homo Show.
Where everything we talk about
is homo as
gay.
I've been trying to block it out because
we can't cuss in the first 30 seconds, right?
I block you out every time. I'll be doing the fake joint and you be like,
I'll be ready. I'm sorry, y'all. We got a special guest in the building with us today.
Yes.
Go ahead and introduce yourself. Let us know who you are and what you do.
My name is Kamil. I'm a screenwriter, artist, all the things. Yeah.
Yes, Kamil. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. So the way we like to get started is with the coming out story. Okay. You can keep it brief, but just let us know how you decide and when to come out the closet.
Not you don't remember. Look,
I know.
It's like so long ago.
About 3-4 times.
It's weird. It's honestly weird because it's like I felt like I was one of those kids that everybody knew I was queer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially when you're like, I think that sometimes it's like, oh, you're the black sheep, or you're like the creative one, or you're the tomboy, or whatever. So I feel like that was my story.
Damn, you was all of them.
Yeah. They was like, oh, okay. And I grew up in Georgia, so they was like, this is obvious, nigga. We're so that was like my coming up like that was more obvious, I think. But I remember when my mom, I was sitting down at a table with my mom, and my mom came out as lesbian later in my life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but like way later. And so we were just sitting down at a table, and I was just like, at the time I was bi, and I came out as bisexual to her, and I was like, I think I'm gonna have a husband and a wife. And she said, what? And I was like, at the same time, she was like, oh, okay, cool. Like,
but how old were you?
I had to be, I was grown-ish. I think I had to be maybe like a freshman, either like I think I was like a senior in high school.
Because I'm like, that just started getting kind of, I don't want to say trendy, but like more popular now.
Right,
so,
facts.
What do you think?
Huh?
Like, what do you think is more trendy now?
Like people, like poly relationships and stuff like that. But for you to say it in high school, like...
And so it's like, I just felt like there's multiple coming outs. Like, that was me being like, okay, I'm bi. And then I was like, and my sister was like, okay, we'll see.
Right.
And then it was like, hey, y'all was right when I was 2 and y'all called me, gay or whatever. So I feel like for me, like when people try to tell me who I was when I was young, I think I kind of resisted that and then wanted to explore myself. And a lot of them was right, but I feel like I came out multiple times. And then when I came out as trans, that was difficult. It was hard conversation with my mom and my sister and stuff like that. So that's why I'd be like, which coming out story? Like, there's so many.
That's what I was saying too, because like it is different conversations you gotta have. Like, all right, I need y'all to understand it's an update real quick.
It's an update.
When you said bi though, did you really feel that way at that time, or was it like a step?
Oh, no, at that time I did really feel that way. I feel like a lot of people think that bisexuality doesn't exist. Like, either you're straight or you're gay.
Right.
Which I feel like is more straight logic. I don't know. So for me, at that time, that's the life I was living. I was living a bisexual life, and that was honest for me. If I had to unpack my relationship, like, with men at that time, I realized that was not love, was not romance. It was just kind of compulsory. You're taught to do it, so you do it, and then you realize it don't work. You know what I mean? But at the time, I was being honest for myself, so.
Word.
Yeah, because I was like, let me come out as bi first. Exactly. And then I'll cut you niggas
Britt
off.
was taking that D, though.
Man,
so.
why do you keep saying that? Like, you have to stop with the cap, bro. But yeah, I just had to like creep into it. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, it was kind of like what was the norm. So I was like, well, if you want to keep a little faith, I like dudes too. If you still want to look at it like that.
Your mom was like, God, please
have a little straight in there.
She with another girl.
And too, it's hard because it's like, at least for like my family, like folks who didn't see other queer people making families. Okay. So in their mind, the only way to make a family is like, be a little bi. Figure it out, exactly. A lot of people did that.
Maybe you'll grow out of it.
People made sacrifices for families, and then then you just realize you don't have to do that. Like, if you don't feel like that, don't. That's not your truth. It's fine. But yeah, that little inkling up, I was tiptoeing around for a long time. I feel like I knew I was trans at the same time I knew I was queer, like as a kid. Tiptoe, because you just be like, it's a hard topic.
Yeah, it really is. So how do you identify?
I identify as transgender. I'm non-binary. These are terms that people like to use, but for me, I like gender fluid. Like gender, because I just feel like I'm just fluid. I use they them pronouns. Like, that's it, like fluid like water type of vibe, And I feel like a lot of times too, people are like, oh, are you mass? Are you femme? Are you STEM? Are you soft stud? Are all these things? And it's just like, some people probably feel very consistent in one of those categories more than the others. I just feel like I flow through them. So fluid is my favorite term, but
Okay. I love that term But it's crazy because we love this show because even in the gay community we be judging, or not only we don't judge, we don't know.
You're right, misinformed.
Right, so that's why we don't be knowing a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So we rather somebody speak up for themselves because I could say whenever other than you, whenever I see somebody say they're transgender, they went from female to male. So are you saying you're transgender because you obviously got your breast removed, right? Is that why you're transgender, or just because I felt like when people also said it, like they was taking tea and stuff like that?
Well, so the definition of trans is if you transition from the gender you were assigned at birth to any other gender. You are transgender. Yeah. Because trans as a term means to move through, right? So it's like if you're trans, so if you shift your gender, like they slapped your ass when you was born and they gave you a gender based off how you looked, and you grew up and you was like, that doesn't feel right for me, you transition from that space, and that's transgender. So you can transition in the binary, aka male, female, whatever, woman, man, or you can transition out of the binary. So people who are non-binary, right? Yeah, and I, honestly, and I feel like, and this is me, like, I know a lot of dykes, and I say dyke as in like mass presenting women. I love dykes.
Yeah, no, we were just talking about dykes. We were just talking about dykes.
I just want to know if we got the same terminology.
It's true, because some people are like, don't call me dyke. I'm like, cool, that's fine. But like, I love dykes. It's my thing. Yeah. And I feel like in the dyke community and like for mass presenting women, a lot of people are non-binary. Even within that, you can identify as a woman and that work for you, and that's fine. And then there are folks who are just like, just call me Sid, just call me whatever. Like I am what I am, and that's a non-binary energy to me. So it's just different words, different labels.
Yeah, I think
it's
we
so
just
deep.
right? Because when I seen, like, because I was watching some stuff that you was on that you did a great job on breaking it down. Like when you would say like I'm like transgender, I'm like, but you not woman to male. But like when you're just saying that you're just coming out of being the woman, it do make a lot of sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I have two questions. One, are we dykes? Are we dykes? Are we considered
y'all
dykes?
dykes? That's the question.
I don't think I consider myself a dyke. I don't think I consider myself a dyke.
Because no, I shouldn't be able to answer that question for you. You know what I'm saying?
I just feel like the people, because like straight people be thinking like, you know, studs want to be men and you a dyke and da-da-da. Like, I'm not a fucking dyke, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know what people mean when they say dyke. Everybody got like a different meaning to dyke.
But how you feel about
dykes?
What would you consider a dyke?
I mean, I think it just depends. Like for me, when I see people who may have been assigned female at birth, but they don't wear clothing that aligns with that. Maybe they don't have mannerisms that align with that. You know, like they are themselves in a way that people would not identify with women often. I feel like a lot of dykes are folks who are just like blurring those lines of what it means to be masculine and feminine. You know, and so that's what I think. But there's people.
You might be.
I feel like you're being real fucking nice. I know. I feel like you doing great at representing the culture. We not that good. We like, if you want like, what are you?
Because people have used it against, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's
right.
Like, it's like, I feel like bi-curious, for example, as a term, sometimes be like a shot. Someone be like, no, I'm bisexual. I like different genders, you know? Not just men and women, just different genders. And you'd be like, oh, so you're bi-curious? Yeah. So you don't really have it figured out yet. It's like, oh, you're slighting me. So I feel like people can use dyke, fag, all these things to slight you, or people can reclaim them, you know what I mean? So like there's a whole dyke march during Pride, and I'm like, turn up.
Yeah, it's all about how you turn into it. So the other question I want to ask, so we had a guest up here who was gender fluid, okay? Now I'm just trying to understand, because I don't know if this how you move as well, okay? But what she told us is basically sometimes she feels masculine, sometimes she feels feminine. And she said when she's feeling masculine, she dresses masculine and opposite. But also when she dresses feminine, she only dates guys. And when she dresses masculine, she only dates men. Like she said, she dead ass will cut off all of her girls if she feel like she wants a dude.
Yeah, I think my friend was hurt.
So like, have you heard of? Because like and do you move like that as well, or like how does?
Well, personally, for me, I'm gay. Like I'm gay. I'm only attracted
so it's so many terms. So trans, gender fluid, and gay.
Yeah, okay, so we're thinking about, so trans and gender fluid are terms that deal with gender. And then gay and bi are sexuality.
Okay, there we go.
Here we fuck up.
That's it, right there.
Just because they're transgender doesn't mean they're gay.
No.
Oh.
Yeah. And here's another kicker, because people get real mad about this.
Hey, straight man, you learned something?
Did you catch that one? Did you catch that one?
Sometimes we gotta ask our straight man.
Say it again one more time.
Just because they trans don't mean they gay.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow.
And for example, you could be a trans woman and a trans man, and y'all are in a straight relationship.
You sure?
Right.
That's a
Because
man
it's
and a
still
woman.
straight.
That's a man.
Y'all
and a
just,
woman.
y'all just was like,
oh.
They like, let me sit in your seat. You can sit in my seat.
But you know what? But I think sometimes too, like people think about queerness and think about like sexuality. But to me, it's like, you know, that's a straight relationship. But it's gonna be, there's queer elements too, because they're not cisgender. They're trans. You know what I mean? So it's different shit. But I just feel like once again, like, gotta keep flipping it on his head because they're two different things.
See, and
that
also
makes a lot of sense.
I feel like there's different trans now. Now that you said it, so I feel like I should ask you this, but I really should ask like a trans manness, right? Because it is a difference,
for
right?
everybody.
But it's like when you are trans, you want to be called a male, so now you don't even want to say you're gay, right?
Right. How does that work?
Well, I don't know. I think that it is just from what I'm hearing from you, it just feels like I think that there are a lot of stigma that people might deal with between gender and sexuality. I think especially if you're like mask presenting in any kind of way. Yeah. Because like if you're mask presenting or if you're femme presenting, like the whole world's like be straight. So mask goes with femme and femme goes with mask, right? That's what they say. Yeah. So I feel like, if you are transitioning gender and then you also realize that your sexuality is also shifting or maybe you haven't been honoring, I feel like that happens a lot because they're so interconnected. You know, like my relationship to how I was dating and who I was dating definitely shifted after I transitioned because I was actually in alignment with myself, you know. So the people I attracted were different too,
right?
But for me, I'm a gay trans person, so I'm only dating other people who are in that same category. So I like androgynous people. I consider myself to be very androgynous. So I realized after I transitioned that when I date like someone who's mass or femme, it doesn't work with me because they are still very binary minded. So I fuck with you, but like that's just not how I live my life.
So you don't. It's a lot.
I'm about to say, well, real quick, did you hear the word she said, androgynous? Remember I was saying I dated that girl who was androgynous?
No, she dated a stud.
They called me stud for stud. I said she was androgynous.
That's a thing. It's a thing. You know, it's a thing because it's like you can see somebody as mass or see somebody as femme, and someone else be like, no, I don't get either from them. So it's like how you see yourself versus how they see you. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see you.
No, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. And especially, you know the crazy thing is, we got like 50% straight viewers.
Oh, I'm sure.
So, because
they're like, break it down.
Right. So, like, even stuff that we might know, we gonna break it down because even straight people do not realize there's a difference between gender and sexuality.
Yeah, I mean, I just really, like, I knew that, but like hearing it like how you put it, it's like, bro, that makes so much sense.
But it's down to everything. I feel like straightness and like just, so we talk about straightness and cisgender, it's the same kind of thing, right?
Cisgender. What is that?
So if you were born.
I just was like, yes.
So if you were born and you were assigned female or male or whatever your gender and you grew up and you're like, yeah, that makes sense, that's right for me, then you're cisgender. Okay. If you was born and they assigned you something that you was like, nah, y'all was wrong. You know what I mean? That's the transition. So when I talk about cis people, that's what I mean.
That's straight people.
Yeah, he's cis and straight.
Cisgender.
Yeah, he's cisgender.
Cisgender ass nigga.
But if you identify as a woman,
cis. Hey, cis. We so childish, look.
Oh, we can
if you started catcalling niggas, calling them cis like that, I think things will shift very quickly.
I'll be. That's why I had to correct myself earlier. Like respectfully, I did not mean. I mean to say they.
But my thing, like, do you identify as a woman?
Yes.
So you're cis. Do you identify as a woman?
Yes.
So you're cis.
Cisgender too.
Y'all cis too. Not the leg cross.
I want to be cisgender. I want to be ghettos.
Cisgender. Okay.
All right. I have a question. All right, and I don't want to sound.
Cover your mouth.
I don't want to sound ignorant. Okay, I don't want to sound ignorant. But when did the pronouns come about? Because I have only recently heard of pronouns, people changing their pronouns, maybe like 3-4 years ago, and I want to respect it 110,000% every time. I get a little confused sometimes, but I do want to be respectful of a person's pronoun.
And it's hard.
It is hard.
It's not. Yeah, it takes practice.
But like you said, saying their name is probably the best thing. But so pronouns, has that always been around, or is?
Yeah. So it's funny because I did a deep dive on this maybe a couple years ago because they, them as a singular pronoun, aka like you saying they to represent one person, got added to the dictionary a couple years ago. But I was, doing little Googles. Pre-19th century, people were already using they pronouns to refer to somebody who they don't know the gender. So you'd be like, I saw them run down the street. Okay. You don't know if they were a girl or a guy or another gender, so you just said they.
Yeah.
And that was like a common practice. So people bringing that up now, people get so hot about it. I think it's because like the expectation, if you tell anybody like it's new to them and then expect them to just get it, people get mad because they're like, give me time to figure it out, grow, practice, whatever. But it's not necessarily new in English. Okay. But I think as far as so people have been using other pronouns since for beginning of time. But when you're thinking about like who controls the narrative, what pronouns you see, they're gonna popularize he and she as your only options. That's just how it is.
Makes fucking sense.
But look, like you seem super like young. Like when you were going through this, was it easy to explain or was it confusing? Because I feel like people go through that, and like even how you say like I looked in the 1900s, whatever.
Yeah.
Like some people might be like, this is not me. Don't call me that, but I'm not him neither. Like, how did you deal with that?
It was really interesting because like when I was a little kid, I like being naturally flat chested. I was like cool. I was like, that was how I felt. You know what I mean? Like, always. I had no issue. I was like, that felt natural to me.
Like, all right, bet.
When my breasts started growing, freaking
hold on now, wait.
Freaking out. And I had cousins and other people who had like bigger breasts, and I was like, oh, they better not get like that. I said, what you mean? Like, everyone wants big titties. I said, no, like, absolutely not. Absolutely not, please. I'm like, God, I know we can like do it. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I felt as a kid. So but like, as a kid, I remember like asking my mom, like, okay, well, am I gonna have what you have? And she was like, yeah. And I'm just being confused, dumb confused. So, but like getting older, I would just push that memory back because you're like, oh, maybe you're just a kid, you don't know language yet. But like that was a first inkling of me not having discomfort with where my body was because it didn't feel in alignment with my gender. I didn't have that language at the time. So then fast forward to when I came out, like it's almost 2 years ago, trying to talk to my mom and sister about it. Like, I spent so much time internally doing all the research and the they, thems, and 19th century and all type of shit.
Broke it down.
Yeah, broke it down. By the time I figured it out for myself, I didn't want to explain to nobody else. I said, get it or don't, bitch. Like, literally, get it or don't. Like, I was just out. And that's not the best strategy. It don't work. For me, it did not work. Yeah. So I had to realize, like, okay, if it took all this energy for me to see who I am, let me rest. Because I'm gonna have to need triple that energy to really like bring the people who I love into my world. And niggas who I don't care about, like, okay, cool, you don't get it, it's fine. But the niggas who I don't care about and niggas I do care about are gonna have the equal amount of difficulty, understanding me. And so if I care about you, I have to do that work. And that shit, it took a lot of time.
It's important, especially for the straight community, to realize like when you a kid and you ain't want boobs, you wasn't thinking about dating girls. You
just didn't want no titties.
Didn't want them.
Because sometimes that's where they be like, where the gender and sexuality, like you already felt that way before you was attracted to anybody. You know what I'm saying?
And I think that they happen. It's funny because like I knew that I liked people with coochies.
Okay, period.
Because different genders, different names.
Coochie.
Okay, I knew I liked coochie from a very, very young age. Tiny.
You know, girl,
tiny.
not too much.
Okay. So it's like, but also I feel like I also had that same feeling about the breast too. So I wouldn't say that they happened. I can't tell before or after, but I feel like from the same moment of childhood, I was aware of both. So it just takes time of growing up and like holding on to that and like making it be real for yourself. That was how it happened for me.
So how was top surgery for you?
It was, give me a specification.
This is the whole process, like maybe for anyone that's thinking about it as well. How much was it? I don't know. Where'd you go? My friend got some big titties, so we might have to.
Breast reduction. Girl. I mean, not girl. See, what do I say?
You can say fam, you can say friend.
Okay, this is not the gender stuff.
I know,
just
and
fam, my
nigga. No disrespect.
Or you can say sib. Some people say sib as opposed to like sister or bro. Yeah, like sib.
What about honey?
You call me honey too?
Yes, honey. I'm giving honey. I'm giving honey.
Yo, and I'm sorry because look,
you southern.
I'm giving honey, right?
I'm sorry because I'm so ghetto because the Britt, I'm like, bitch.
No, we even call men girls sometimes. It just kind of comes out. You be like, girl,
I'm sorry,
I call grown-ass men girls sometimes. Like,
yeah, but sis. No, but I'm just trying to catch myself. But I'm sorry. But, like, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, top surgery.
I mean, like, so for my top surgery experience was actually really smooth. Like, the hardest process for me was where I just told you about, like, the preparing the family, getting my own internal stuff, and then really having the energy to not just, like, cut niggas off because it was frustrating and hard. So that was, to me, the most challenging part. But for me, I did some research on, like, best top surgeons in the U.S. And really, I actually had a homie, you might know him actually, but I had a homie who I saw in person who had top surgery the first time in Georgia. And I was like,
Usher?
yes!
We're going to cut it out.
Oh, okay, got you. Okay,
But
cool.
yeah.
But yeah, so I
cut it out.
I had a friend.
Usher know I love.
I had a friend who I saw in person who had top surgery. And I saw him, like, that's the first person I saw close to close. And I was just like, oh shit, like, that was my confirmation. It looked good. They were so comfortable. And I was just like, oh shit. And I remember, like, whispering, I was like, hey, like, did they get their titties removed? Or, like, was they born like that? And the person who I was with at the time, she was like, oh no, like, yeah, they got to move. Oh my God, I asked them about it because they love talking about it. And I was like,
real.
yeah, for sure. So I did.
Be quick to be like, you want to see?
You want to see?
Yeah.
But you know what? That level of, like, transparency, I feel like that makes all the difference for queer people.
No, I love that.
You know what I mean?
It's like freedom. Like, I ain't like, yeah.
Yeah,
like,
so after seeing that, they actually pointed me in the right direction because they were just like, oh, this is how I got mine done. You can go look at whoever works for you. But they just told me about their experience. I did some Googling, researched all the shit. And then I realized that to pay out of pocket is gonna start at $10K,
right?
Just for the surgery. That's not healing. That's not anything else. So, and most people when they go to a surgeon, they have no insurance because a lot of insurance doesn't cover it. You're looking at $16K, $20K, like. Possibly if you're paying out of pocket with no insurance. So for me, I went the insurance route with Kaiser in LA.
Big up for Kaiser. I know Kaiser.
Yeah, and Kaiser, it was my last year under my mom's insurance.
Oh, just in time.
Yeah, because I was, I don't know, turning 26 or something like that.
Yeah, it is to 25 usually.
Yeah, so they covered it, but that was a $10K operation. And so, yeah.
Well, looks like I'm going to be with these for a while.
You don't have to shake them titties if you want to make a little money with it. I'm trying to tell you something.
A lot of insurances do cover, so they got to look and ask a lot of questions. But Kaiser Permanente, West LA, they knew me by name.
Okay.
I'm like, hello? I was just following up again and again. Like.
Okay, so before we, like, leave the actual surgery part, so first of all, you didn't have to have any issues with your breasts for your insurance to cover them.
So technically, this is like the, I feel like this rule is carrying over from people acting like queerness or gayness was a illness. In like the 70s and shit, right? So basically, and it still continues now. So if you're trying to get top surgery, I think it's also the same for like face feminization or bottom surgery for other trans folks. You have to get evaluated by a psychologist, a psychiatric person.
What?
Now, if you do it through insurance, you have to get evaluated by their psychologist, whatever. If you do it personally, then you can just go to your own therapist to do it. At the time, I had my own therapist. They wrote me a letter. It was cool. Then I was like, I gotta go insurance route. So then I had to go talk to Kaiser people. It's a 3-week process.
Damn.
So do y'all think that's a bad idea? I know you said it seems like people, but do y'all think that's a bad idea? Because there's no going back.
To chop?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I mean, no, to go to a psychologist before you do it. Not, first of all, you don't want like the white man to approve what you're going through.
Yeah.
But just like real psychology before.
I think I always recommend, like, if you can have, my therapist is trans. My therapist specialized in POC stuff, people who have trauma, all type of things. And so I looked for a therapist who I knew was already in my world.
Okay.
Because I feel like if they heard me talk, they could be like, okay, this sounds like XYZ, but they could also analyze it from a trans inclusive perspective. Don't go to your Christian pastor.
Right, talking about.
And go to get therapy and expect them to understand because in their book, it says that's evil.
Right.
So you got to know who you're talking to. Now, before I went to Kaiser to get my evaluation done, I had talked to other people who also had the evaluation. And there's just, rules and tricks of the trade, things that will trigger the system to be like, what the fuck is going on here? So always talk to people.
Word.
So you can get denied for the Wow.
You can get denied. And you can pass your evaluation and still get denied just your insurance. Like, yeah, so it just depends.
That's fucked up. Like,
yeah, that's super
okay.
So I like how you said, though, like, finding a psychologist
who knows
you actually relate to and not just gonna be like, what? Big. Like, nah, like, that's not the Christian way.
That's big.
Yeah. It's like if your psychologist, like, don't fuck with weed, and you're like, oh, well.
Right.
They're not gonna be able to help you with anything.
Facts.
Okay, so, this might be too much. All right.
Okay.
Did you, because I was just watching one video. All right. Did you get your nipples off too?
Yeah, I did. I don't know.
So that's different. So what made you not, well, now I know because you don't identify with male or female. But usually when they do, they have nipples as like a male chest. So I never seen nobody or realized that they
I
ain't have
never even
nipples.
knew that was an option.
Yeah, so for me.
So what's the option?
Let me get a small nipple. I want to make a little small nipple.
Well, for me, it was actually so funny because it's like, so you can opt to do it. It's called a nipple graft. So you can choose to do it or to not do it. It doesn't really make your process any longer, and it's just up to choice. Now, for me, I have tattoos that I like, that I pay for, that I'm gonna keep, you know what I mean? Right. So for me, I was like, if I get a nipple, it's gonna be over my tattoo. It might look disjointed, and for me, I felt that's part of my expression too. So I was just like, what do I need them for? And you can't. And the rate of you being able to breastfeed or chest feed if you have top surgery is pretty low. Some people can a little bit. So I was just like, and I never saw myself breastfeed.
Okay. Let's be clear.
Never. Like before gender sexuality was a question, that was not my life. So it just didn't. I didn't really need them for anything. And also, if we get personal, like
we get personal.
Okay. Your body, you know, what's it called? Like erogenous zone. I think is how you pronounce it. But it's just like certain parts of your body that like will titillate you or like excite you.
Right.
Like my chest was never really a big one.
Okay, so then even
I'm
like, girl, that's my spot. How you get?
Yeah, you know.
So my spot away.
So you can. So if you get a reduction or if you get top surgery, you would still maintain feeling. But like nipples are always so I was just
hit
like,
or
just
miss.
take them. Yeah.
What if you wanted the nipples back?
There's no.
It's a dub.
There's no possibility. Well, for me personally, I've always been sure, so there's never a question. But if you want them back, you don't have the option like that. So that's make that choice for yourself, because you only have one set of nipples. So if you want them, you can keep them. If not, then you let them go. But some people, when they get them done, you have like a 50-50 chance. Some people say of them actually like sticking and staying. I think it's probably higher than that now. But so some folks just choose not to even deal with the complication of it or the possibility of it.
Okay, I got one more question about the process.
Yeah, my friend might get them chopped off.
No. This is just because that's very informative.
No, it really is, because I did not know about the nipples.
Right. Me, I'm like, I was staring at your chest. All right, excuse me. No, but so does your body go through any transformation? Like, because we be acting like our body ain't, like, it got obviously a brain of its own and be knowing. And that's like nerves that are going to your nipples and stuff like that. Did your body do anything different or react any type of way?
No, the number one thing that I feel like people in the trans community I heard, because, you know, once I was preparing for top surgery, I'm following every hashtag, I'm on every social media platform, because the information is not provided to us by the system that we're a part of. They don't care. So only people who are really going to tell you the truth about it, in my opinion, are other people who've been through it, and they will post about it, and that's why I'm so vulnerable about it, at least. So I think that so the check. Wait, sorry. Can you repeat the question? I apologize.
No, I was saying, did your body go through any?
Yes. One of the things that I heard that is a symptom of getting top surgery is like these little nerve tingles, I guess. They last like a year. For me, they lasted for a year because your body has removed something. You still have nerves that had connection with those nerves that were removed, so they're looking for the other nerves, like where they at. So sometimes you feel like a little pinch, like a little pinch or whatever, and it's like small, but it's just because it's just nerves, whatever. And it only lasts for a year and then it's gone. But that's one thing that I felt. And then I know that like breasts produce estrogen. I don't know much about that, but one thing my mom was always saying was like, she just was curious, like, hey, after your top surgery, how will your hormones be affected? Like, will you feel less or more emotional or anything? And it's been 2 years, and I just feel very balanced. So I don't know any science about that, but that's just another thing that I hope someone does research on. So.
Bro, when I say you know so much though, like you really like educating us today. I remember when I first met you, we was up to like 6 in the morning talking about poly. Because I was thinking about being poly, but I was like, bro, I know I gotta at least do my research on it. Like you talking about today, like people think it's just like, I don't know, I want 2 girlfriends, I want to be poly or I want to be trans, and then they don't do the research or anything behind what it actually means to live that lifestyle.
Y'all gotta do the research because that's a lifelong commitment though.
No, for real.
And I'll also say too, it's like there are people who, like I meet a lot of people who their number one question is like, well, what about the people who might regret or do so and so and so and so? And I want to say to everybody, like the rates of people who regret breast augmentation, aka getting your boobs bigger, skyrocket. So much higher than people who get gender affirming surgery.
That makes sense.
The rate of regret for transgender surgeries for bottom or top are like so nominal. People who bring them up are only trying to like weaponize them. But there's just no research around it. People who get it done know themselves. So I just be like, trust yourself, do the research, but trust yourself. Don't let these niggas tell you who you are because you know.
Right.
That's good to know too, because people do say that all the time. Well, what if you want to go back, or what if you end up wanting that? Yeah, that's a good point.
You know?
Okay, we learned a lot today. Okay, so let's get into your type. What are you attracted to?
Oh my God.
Let us know.
So
I know you said you like dykes.
I'm in a relationship.
Yes, taken.
So there you go. But I love I'm into androgynous people. Like I love artists. I love androgynous folks. I like people who don't let other people tell them who to be, like at all. So that's my type. But I'm into folks who, like I like folks who get it and who can give you like a reference or a citation and also can make you laugh and like turn the block up. Like that's my type of vibe.
So it's a mental thing. It doesn't matter if they're identified as stud, femme, trans.
No, I just like androgynous people. I tend to
just
attract androgynous people. Yeah, like I'll find femmes attractive, mass people attractive, but it don't usually last just because like that's. That they're in a certain space, and I think they'll have expectations of me that I be like, where'd this come from? Like I didn't agree to this. That's gender shit. Yeah. So, but you can be a femme or someone who's mass and also be like, I don't live that life, and that's fine too. So
androgynous.
Do you have any issues? I know you're with somebody now, but have you had any issues with like somebody not want like feeling some type of way because you don't have breasts?
You know what? Actually, no.
Really?
I know. I really thought it was, I'm laughing because like it's so scary getting back into sex after transitioning. Yeah. Because a lot of trans people get killed or hurt, like because people that maybe might be drunk, might not see you close enough or whatever, and then like you get home and like they don't know, they don't know, you know what I mean? And sometimes it's not people's business. It's really particular just because people are so like transphobic or queerphobic or whatever. So my first time literally having a sexual experience, just out, what I'm saying, doing my thing, end up going home with somebody, it was cool, and like she didn't even see at like that I didn't have any chest. Now, but I had like I had my whole chest out like the whole night. Like I had like, so in my mind, I'm
she
like,
was fucked up.
She gets it. No, you know what I mean? But she just didn't, she was like looking up here, wasn't even thinking about it, or thought that I had like no titties, maybe just like, flat chest.
Right.
And then, we got to the moment of like, oh shit, like we're taking our clothes off, and she just kind of stared at me for a while, and she's like, oh shit, I didn't know. And I was like, does this bother you? She was like, no, I don't care. Like, she was like, I just didn't know. And then it was fine. But even too, I had to be aware because like the silhouette sometimes for lesbians might trigger them. You don't know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You having sex and they look up and see someone with a flat chest and maybe a dick. You know what I'm saying? But they're not a man. I feel like things like that were scary as fuck to me. Yeah. But it ended up being cool, just so.
And so did you start telling people though, or from that moment, or?
Telling people what?
Like just a heads up or something, or did you just continue to? I mean, not saying you was having sex with multiple different people after that, but like after that, like were you telling people ahead of time, or just letting them see for themselves and see how they react to it?
I don't know. After that point, that was just like, it was like a body I caught during Pride. So it was just
quick little body yaddy.
It was maybe real quick. But I feel like from that, I'm so open about myself. Like I just hang you on Instagram, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just, you know, so I don't think I've ever had the issue of having to disclose.
Yeah.
But other people who are transgender who have to disclose or figure out what that's like for them, I just think it's different for everybody. But that was the only issue I had. I have a lot of cis men who will either be deeply upset and ready to fight, like physically fight on the street over my chest. No joke, no like, oh, are you just niggas ready to go? Or I have niggas who be like, I don't care about your chest. A nigga actually told me, oh, your heart and your chest, that's what matter. Like, you get my number. I said, what? Yeah, y'all can use that. I was like, no, thank you, sir. But yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
That was cute.
But if you're into men and you also want top surgery, I would not let it like deter you from getting it, because I think a lot of the men who I meet who are attracted to people with vaginas or people who look like whatever, I haven't had they haven't had an issue with me. It's just the people who I think are like queerphobic altogether. I think, you know what I mean. So get it. Get your man and get your top surgery.
No,
I've seen it done.
that's a good point, because, man, if that was me, just thinking about if I was having sex with somebody and I didn't know, I don't know how I would react. How would you react?
I'm not gonna lie, I would rub the breast and I'll be like, we still gonna finish out the night.
We already here, so I mean,
we're gonna talk about it in the morning.
eXeL said a conversation.
Look.
Hey, I'll probably be like, if I lick your nipple, will you feel it? All right, bet, let's get it.
But she ain't got a nipple.
But I'm about to say, and I would be heartbroken because, like, my nipples, like, I fuck with my nipples.
Okay.
So I'm like, damn, like, yo, I don't got the nipples, but maybe you got something.
But you know,
neck.
It's interesting too, because it's like I've had I don't know. I think it just depends. Like certain people, like, you don't know how you react sometimes because you don't know like what that person looks like, what they're doing, what it could spur for you. But I know a lot of people who actually realized that they were overly reliant or had they had a relationship with titties that they felt like they were supposed to have, and then they realized that they
reliant
overly
on the
titties because you don't need it to come. Like not everybody does.
But that is so.
No,
that's a quick little trick. You want to make one come real quick. You gonna hit them certain spots. We ain't even gonna try to find those spots.
But
exactly. There's so many other spots.
There's other ways. Like you might have high expectations of somebody's titties, and they still might not meet your expectations.
Yeah, might be a little salty. Might be a little salty.
Yeah.
You ever licked salty nipples? Like,
nah, I
Never.
haven't.
Oh shit.
Yes, I have. It's salt and it's life, and it's okay.
I don't think I really have licked salty nipples.
You ain't never like maybe a sweaty day and y'all just didn't get the shower yet.
Just
so
pull it out.
Yeah,
and
it's titty just a little sweaty and got a little.
I kissed like a salty neck before.
Salty neck. Oh.
You know when you hot at the club. Oh my god. When you at the club and you kiss their neck, you like.
Yeah, it's like you gotta just roll with that one because you already knew it was probably sweaty.
Yeah, you sweating too?
Exactly.
No.
Okay.
Seasoning.
I want to bring up. Well, we already talked on it, but Sydney Starr was basically saying. Let me put a post up 1 second.
Nah, you informing us.
No, for real, bro. Like.
And the thing is, people are so afraid to ask the questions that really matter that nobody ever learns. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So we talked, we know Sydney Starr. We want you to come. We're ready for you, girl. But all right, so Sydney Starr was basically saying how a man being attracted to a transgender woman doesn't make him gay.
It does not.
And you saying that earlier about it not being the same, like being transgender, you can still be
straight.
You can be gay, you can be whatever, bisexual, right? So that makes perfect sense because people was really trying to go back and forth. And even when I saw it, I was like, damn, what does that?
Nah, no, because some of these transgender women be looking
bad bitches, girl. Like, what's up?
And you know, man, they don't even look that hard. Like they'll beat the horn driving by.
No,
so
for
like
real,
they
man.
beat the horn at a trans woman. Like they don't know.
Yeah.
And there's sometimes that they do know. And, and then they go through and they do their shit and then they just feel shame. So then they gotta like, what you do with that? Like, you know what you came for. You know what I mean? I think like it makes you like gender and sexuality are totally different. But I feel like people, they're so, like being cis and being straight is really strict. It's so strict.
Boring.
Yeah, you know what you can't wear, what you can't say, how you supposed to sit.
So many damn rules.
There's so many rules. So I feel like the second people realize that like I just feel like people are so focused on genitalia and how people have sex, so they assume that if people are having sex with people with different genitalia, then you're automatically gay or bi or whatever. And I just don't think that. I think it's really reductive. So yeah.
But if you're having sex with somebody with the same genitalia, you don't think they're gay?
If it's not, because genitalia does not equal gender, period. It don't. So if I'm a trans man, if I'm a trans man and I have a vagina, are you gonna say I'm not a man because I have a vagina? Cis people will, yeah, that's their whole life. But no, that's literally the opposite of all this shit. So when you start focusing on coochie or penis or intersex or whatever, you miss the point. You miss it every time.
It's just about what we was taught for so long.
Yeah.
So it's really just something of like learning something new that's just so foreign.
Yeah, because if you're a man who's attracted to feminists, but you also like say you're attracted to a woman with a penis. That's what you like. That's what you want. That's not a man. That's a woman with a penis. That's a specific type of person, and that's okay. Woo.
So that's okay. First of all, that is what we're learning on this show. Is like we try to put people in boxes, but every single person is different. Even straight people, they got their own little secret things they love that they would never tell.
Like they do all this shit behind closed doors and be like, I'm straight.
Yeah. Right.
But
I think all men are gay.
I think everybody a little gay, and
because
that's my
men flirt
argument.
with their men friends.
Hold up.
Would that make them gay?
What do you mean they flirt with their men?
They flirt with their friends.
Like Strike and Viper, like, you know, a little bit of bromance.
Yeah, like we gay for that. We really gay for that. Like we be touching each other's titties and all kind of shit.
No, you touch my titties.
Bro, you touch my ass all the time.
I do.
But y'all already gay. Wait, have y'all heard of term homoerotic?
No, what's that?
So to your theory, homoerotic basically says that like cis men treat men better than any other gender. They love men more. They retweet men more. They quote men more. They hang around men. They only respect men. They pay men. They hire men. And they want to have more men babies.
Thank you.
Sound about right.
Thank you.
Homoeroticism says that there's a naturally gay element to their lifestyle, and that's homoeroticism. So when you talk about everybody being a little gay, yeah, because people trust people who they feel more familiar next to. So don't act like y'all not over here getting a little intimate and getting close and doing shit.
Yes.
It's queer, bro. Everybody has some element of queerness in their life. So acknowledge it.
So real quick, all right. Somebody asked us, all right, their baby dad kind of came out, right?
As what?
Well, basically said he likes getting head from a guy or a transgender.
Wait. Okay, so he is okay with a transgender woman giving him head or a gay man giving him head.
Right.
Okay, gotcha.
But he's not gay then?
Why he say that?
I'm asking you because you were saying like,
if he likes another man, like cisgender man sucking his dick, I think that's pretty gay.
I thought so.
No, that's facts.
Now he might be bi though, because if you're attracted to trans women and you're attracted to men,
right?
That's bi. And I feel like people think bisexuality means you like men and women, but if
I
you
like that,
yeah, you know what I'm saying.
I'm gonna look at y'all now, like, what up, though?
if you like more than one gender and this little pinky come up, this is the bi.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, fuck it.
So you like women plus, that is giving bi. It's giving very much bi.
Okay. You should ask the question about
well, why don't you ask me?
It's your question though. We talked about it before, but basically talking about trans in sports.
See, okay, but I don't even know. Like, I feel like I would want a trans man here
or a trans athlete,
but I really feel like, cause I do feel like it's different type of trans now. But you can answer from how you feel. All right. So there's always that issue where people are really against like trans men or trans women in a female sport, right? Like the dude that was swimming, he went from man to woman, and now he's in the women's swim league, and he got like first place or whatever. And they're like, yo, like he used to be a man or whatever.
Well, you want to use their correct pronoun.
She used.
I think it's Leah Thomas. Is that right, Leah? You're talking about Leah Thomas, the swimmer?
I don't know the name, but. Basically,
I canceled.
No, for real. Thank you. I appreciate that. Because we don't.
First of all, I'm not saying from I'm saying how people felt like that was a man. And do you feel like there is a difference?
Well, one thing I would say is like I even if I am referencing how someone else is gonna call somebody, if it's gonna misgender them, I'm not gonna do it. So if the athlete we're talking about is she. If anyone talks, whatever else they say, that's not gonna work with me. You know what I'm saying? So she. But for me, I think that, and this is, I'm gender studies minor at UCLA, and I only bring that up because I learned this in that one.
We need facts.
Okay. I was like, how the fuck do you know how so
gender
much
studies, Gender studies minor at UCLA, and we had a class on gender and sexuality. This is the first time this was brought up to me, trans folks in sports. And, back to what we're taught from the beginning of time being wrong. Like there's no direct correlation between testosterone and athleticism. There's no correlation. Testosterone in strength, maybe. Testosterone in muscle mass, maybe. But athleticism as a term means your ability to do well and excel at your sport. Different sports have different traits. So testosterone is actually not going to help you in every sport. It's just not, it's not true. And testosterone is not going to fill the gap for training. It's not going to fill the gap for genetics. And it's not going to fill the gap for just that star quality that people bring to the game. So I would say that there's a lot more research we need to do on testosterone and estrogen, because right now what we're doing doesn't make any sense. People take estrogen blockers and people get tested to see what their levels in comparison to people in their class. So when they're let into that class, it's because that work has been done. The anger that comes is from people who are still transphobic, who feel like,
no, you feel that anger.
Like, you know that shit don't even, like, come on now.
They're mad because in their mind they don't get it, they don't believe it, so they're just gonna try and discredit it. But scientifically, shit is checking out.
See, I would say exactly, but all like whatever. If I'm racing, I'm racing you, and you did transition, I will think you might have an advantage.
But what happens when you beat the person?
Right.
And then you be like, now you would never even bring up.
Right.
You don't care about the gender, but as long as you win, you don't care.
So no, that's
so cis people don't care as long as they win. It's like white people don't care as long as they win.
Right.
The second niggas start coming up behind them, they go, well, let me check your genetics.
Right.
How would you beat me?
A girl could beat a boy.
Period.
A regular girl can be a regular boy.
And I would just tell y'all to look into Caster Semenya. Look in the
you gotta say that's that word, baby. Is that a name or
no? Her name is Caster.
Okay, Caster.
Caster. Caster. And Caster is a athlete, a track runner from Kenya, I believe. Dope. They were one of the first people who was like really like terribly scrutinized for their relationship to their gender and their running. And they didn't even know that they had that they were like in the intersex spectrum until they started winning and people started pulling their card. Now it didn't matter. After they did all this research, they had to take photos of your genitalia to do all these tests.
That's fucked
When
up.
you're a trans person and they're trying to take your medal away, they literally analyze your whole body like you're a creature they found on fucking like some alien or something.
Right.
So they did all of this just to find out that this person, yes, is intersex, but that their intersexness has nothing to do with them winning.
Yeah.
And then you just traumatize a person, take their medals away, and do all this shit just because you don't believe it.
It's
See,
so
they ain't
tough.
talking about that right there enough. That's
So
my first time even hearing that.
Yeah, and that's a black person in Africa.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So just little things like that.
And I think the biggest thing, and even when you're talking, it still sounds like stuff is still really new and they don't know.
No, it really is.
But the biggest thing is the research on it.
Right.
Like stop putting, gender and sexuality together and really do research on this. If it really does make a difference, then it's not about what gender you want to be. It's about
or what gender you are.
Or what? Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And if it don't, then fuck it. Everybody, you know what I'm saying.
Nah, for real.
And it's like really asking yourself, like, how does this person's truth block my ability to live my best life?
Right. What does it have to do with you? That'd be my biggest thing. Like, people really lose sleep over these kind of topics, and I'd be like, yo, why does it matter? Like, we're all human. Why does it matter what we want to, how we want to move with our life?
Yo, even more like with you want to get your breasts removed, right?
Titties.
Yeah, you want to get them things removed. All right, really, when you just when you break it down, it's like, that's that.
Right.
Yeah. But it's really to everybody around you. It's such a huge deal. Why?
And there are people too who like, you don't have to go through a transition to be fluid or to be non-binary. You could be like, my titties and my ass are here, my coochie is here, and I'm still not a gender. Don't put that shit on me.
Right.
You don't have to. So I just feel like whatever people can do, whether it's dressing or clothing or pronouns, to like be able to identify as you are fully, do that shit. You know what I mean? But don't think that like you're gender fluid or you're trans has to look like theirs or vice versa, because that's just not true. It's not, you know.
I love that message, man, Kamil. We learned so much here today with you, and I hope y'all really feel inspired by what's going on here with this conversation, because I do feel like at this point, especially in this fucking life, there are no rules to this shit.
There's really not.
Just live your life however you want to live your life.
Yeah, and you said a dope quote. I think we could end on it if you had any more. you was basically saying, let me see. I'd rather be true to myself than beautiful to you. And I think,
I like that.
I think without even being trans, just anybody coming out, I think that's so huge, because people be living in their shadow so everybody around them could be happy and they're miserable.
Yeah.
And what's the fucking point?
And if you're beautiful to somebody who doesn't get you, it doesn't matter. Because you don't exist. So it's like if your existence is just on your beauty or your desirability, it's so shallow. And I really wish more for everybody. And I got that for myself. I'm gonna keep getting it for myself. Period. But there's no rules, like you said.
Nah, I love it. And you just having like facts to back it up. You doing your own research. I think
it's
that's
the research for me.
I think that's very important. You know, and yeah,
because evidence exists, they just don't want to show it to us. But if you look, you will find it.
Especially with TikTok. Look, oh yes.
No, and I'm about to say, when I talk to people like you, like, because some people do stuff as a trend, as a trend. I'm like trend. I'm so stuck on the trend. I'm about to go home and research some more shit. But no, they do stuff for like trends. Like I actually was sawing people. I don't know if it was true or not. I don't know if y'all heard about it, but people who were transitioning as a TikTok trend.
Oh, through the little
I heard about
thing?
it.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, I don't even know. Like, were they transitioning fully or like making it? Like,
no, it was like people that was fully like doing the process, like
I'm not
as a study,
though.
like I'm about to go do this. I'm not really like that, but let me show you all that. It's just like some weird.
Yeah, I
people
did.
shit.
It's not a costume. It's so weird. It's, just
It's
like,
not a costume.
It's like stop wearing afro, stop wearing locks, stop pretending to be gay or trans.
My locks real.
Okay, girl, I'm out. Let's do it. But it's just like it's a culture. You gotta respect it.
Yeah.
So if you're not a part of it, just
That's some
Leave it
clout
alone.
shit.
It
That's
is,
some
man. The
dumb
world
clout
is
shit.
weird.
And when people are really going through like really trying to find themselves and stuff, that ain't nothing to play with, bruh. For some views, and then you mad later down the line.
It's like people being like, oh, I'm gonna be dark today. I'm being masked, but like, I'm gonna just see what it's like. Or people who literally like, there's videos of people who change their race and walk around and see what it's like. It's like,
yeah, like that's so
it's
weird,
the same shit.
bro. Like,
but don't get that confused. People who like knew who they were when they were young and just had to develop the money, time, and resources and language to be that.
Right.
Because it takes time. You know what I mean? I don't know if you was a little kid and you like wanted to dress a type of way. And you didn't have no money for that shit.
Right.
You had to wait till you get older.
Like, damn, I'm gonna wear this dress one more time.
Okay, couldn't wait.
You know? So shit.
Oh, well,
Nah.
I think we summed that up, man. That was a lot that we learned.
We over here
appreciate you. No, for real, because the thing is, like, I've known you for a little minute, so I feel very comfortable even making mistakes with you when I do talk about these kind of topics. Like, you're not like, nah, bro, because some people be like, nah, brother, like, they be trying to check you. And I'm like, yo, I really don't know. I didn't mean any harm.
Yeah.
So I like how you're patient with us and you just educating us and helping us be more aware, because I want to be respectful to it, and I do respect it, and I don't think it's like, how you gonna feel like that in 5 years, like that's not even for me to be worried the fuck about. Like, but if you living in where you at, anybody, and they feel like they're at peace and they're at freedom, like that's all that matters to me.
And too, when I first transitioned, it was hard to be patient. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like,
I bet, man.
Because it's like I feel like for me, I was so triggered.
Yeah.
So if someone misgendered me, I'm just like feeling like damn again.
Yeah.
Especially after getting top surgery. Like, so I just say like, if you're gonna do things, do them for yourself, because people have been trained with gender for thousands of years. So like, it's gonna take time for people to be able to see someone and be like, oh, I wonder who they are, as opposed to like projecting something. So yeah, it get real sharp, because I was real hostile for a while, and then you have to just be like, forgiveness gets forgiveness. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want nobody to feel bad.
Right.
And I do think that like the gay community, or like, we do need to be open in a respectful way to educate a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because we do be so like quick to don't call, cause I ain't gonna lie, I slipped. I said she once or twice, right?
Yeah.
But it's like you said, like, people have been trained like this. Now, if they do that and then don't feel don't apologize or just disrespecting you, that's one thing. But if it's just, somebody trying to transition on the learning, curve with you, I think the gay community needs to kind of work on that, because we be like how you just said earlier, you like, I don't want y'all to be canceled. Like, and you gotta be canceled, but asking real questions that a lot of people want to know, not in a disrespectful way, but in a way like, so let's have this conversation. You know what I'm saying? So, so we definitely appreciate you.
Thanks, Kamil.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. It's the No Homo Show. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment.
Yeah.
See y'all next time.
Okay, whisper.
Okay. Let's give it ASMR.
Whole lot of gay shit. Whole lot of gay. I like that.
Boss Britt. We certified. And DJ eXeL.